What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today we're going to talk to you about Palantir, go over their upcoming Q4 estimates and why I feel their earnings is going to be absolutely home run, prompting new 52-week highs. So I'm going to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, even on a technical standpoint, Palantir has recovered fairly well over the last week, bouncing off of this nice low right here. So very strong support. So I'll go over that near the tail end of the video, but their upcoming earnings is slated for February the 3rd. So pretty much right around the corner. It is after hours. Current estimates, 11 cents for the earnings per share, 776.78 million for the revenue. So even looking at the earnings per share revisions over the last 90 days, 13 positive and 0 negative. So this time last year, it was completely polar opposite. Analysts honestly had very little expectations of Palantir. It was more oriented towards the downside. So there's a very nice change up that's been happening for the greater part of the year. Just to give you a quick overview though, looking at the earnings per share, that does represent 39.61% year-over-year growth, high end of 12 cents, low end of 10, and that is based on 16 analysts. Looking at the revenue, that 776 mil does equate to 27.69% year-over-year growth. 768 the low, 821 million the high. So most likely that's Daniel Ives. Obviously he's the poster boy of Palantir, but if it does come anywhere remotely close to that 821, then you are going to see a huge run. And as of right now, though, looking here at the implied move, it is forecasted for it to be a 13.85% in either direction. So this earnings, for the most part, is going to be the most volatile earnings that they've had, aside from May 2022. So, and even just generally looking over the last roughly 8 earnings, post 2 weeks after, the market has really seen Palantir move in a very positive way. So last earnings, you can kind of see it did result 2 weeks after a 47 or 48% increase. Quarter prior, 34, 35. Quarter prior than that, it was a 14%, 50%, 14% reduction, of course, 33%. So yeah, generally post earnings, it goes through a massive move. And this is why I did on my last video, you need to buy the dip. You need to buy. And I did. I put my money where my mouth is and I bought. And honestly, I do see a hell of a lot more upside coming. Based on some other data points, you have shorts. So shorts have been actually returning. So 3.93% of the free float is being shorted. So once again, reconfirming that they feel that their earnings is going to be fairly I guess established, or I guess interpreted. But as far as the options though, so from Friday, you can kind of see, so looking at this, so February the 7th, so that would encumber their earnings, you do see a consensus for it to be back at that $80, which kind of falls under the parameters within that implied move of 13.85%. So big money definitely does feel that a higher high is anticipated. Even going into this upcoming week though, you have a consensus for it to be above 81. So I think that would encumber more so the post-Trump inauguration pump, if that kind of makes sense. So yeah, honestly, higher highs is anticipated for Palantir. Big money has been definitely loading the boat, buying the dip for Palantir. So as far as this goes, big money honestly can't get enough of Palantir. So these are all the transactions that did occur on the secondary market above $100,000. And honestly, when it comes down to Palantir now, it's kind of just normal just to see 10.8 million in one transaction, 3.8, 6.5, 5 million, 2 million. Like just seeing 1 million is just like, okay, good chump change now. I think you're looking for like the 6 to like this one right here, 168 million. So definitely a lot of big money is loading the boat with Palantir. So even analysts are looking a little bit more optimistic on Palantir right now. Not necessarily all through the recent ratings, because we've seen some bearish ones recently. So you saw a $28 sell, $35 sell. And in my opinion, I think that is more just manipulation, trying to bring Palantir down. Kind of worked a little bit. Then again, the broader market, CPI really spooked a lot of growth stocks as well. But all in all, for analysts to give ratings prior to a company's earnings is usually because they have another motive behind the scenes, but that's just me, of course. But looking at the earnings per share, so you don't really see all that much in change, so that 11 cents per share. Revenue, though, recently you have seen analysts become a little bit more optimistic. It did go from 774 to that 775 mil for the revenue. And just generally, analysts are forecasting continued nice growth, as what I kind of showed you. So this upcoming earnings, every data point does really signal that there is going to be a very nice move higher. As far as on a technical standpoint, with it at $71.77 going into this upcoming week, it is trading between this R1 and the pivot. So $70 and change is going to be the following, is going to be, I guess, the next support, followed by 65. And so we do know that is pretty much diamond support, bounced off of that general area and kind of moved higher. Flip side, 76.52, 80.07, and then 85.80 is going to be the next strong target / resistance points. Based on this upcoming week options, it is anticipated to trade between this R3 and this R2, and then most likely going into their earnings, you can kind of see it being above this R3. And that is just, as you can kind of see right here, just a small skip above that to $100. That would be very, very iconic. And going over the actual chart itself, so let's kind of go over that. So as far as this, it did bounce off of that 50-day moving average, and that's currently sitting at 69.06. You really want to watch for the super trend of $77.77, so lucky 7. If it is able to break above that, then you'll have algorithmic trading really on your side and propelling Palantir higher. And just generally, you can kind of see what does and how strong algorithmic trading is. So during this whole run up here, you had algos on your side. So I think big money does pay attention to Palantir regardless, but when you have the algos really pushing your stock higher, you don't really need to kind of push or have all that much in buying power. So that's one positive thing. But aside from that, going into this upcoming week, it is above the ALMA. So yeah, I think that we are kind of getting set, the foundation's getting set for new highs. And my price prediction on Palantir post earnings is going to be roughly around that $95 range. I know that is a little bit higher than even the implied move, but I think given just the macro data points that have been coming out, economy is very, very strong. So that is going to kind of continue to fuel it even after the earnings. So this is just my viewpoint. Let me know your thoughts on that. Give yourself a shout out if you're like myself and you did buy the Palantir dip, or have you been flip side selling. I see a lot of big accounts on social media saying that they've been selling Palantir. I kind of see it just very, very poor timing, but let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon where I give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolutely on point and bangers, so definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.